That's not for me to discern or roll with. I mean, I just truly go out there and try and play to the standard and be the best that I can be for my team. And there are times today that I feel like I didn't do that, but when it mattered most, I feel like we did a good job of doing what we need to do.
Man, he made a lot of really clutch plays in that second half, and then the big one obviously at the end right there. You know that he's clutch. He's been clutch for us and clutch for this city and clutch for this team for the past 3 years now.
And with that, we'll jump into our Roto World player news. For all your player news, go to NBCSports.com. Nick Sirianni dropping the word clutch about 7 times out of 9 words.
7 times, and by the way, I assume that's his son, who's next to him. For those that are just listening to the audio, the clip is there's a little kid next to Sirianni, kind of looks like him, so I assume it's his son.
Wearing Eagles gear.
Yeah.
It wasn't Penn State Blake.
It was, right. We'll talk about Penn State Blake in a second.
His time's coming.
But the kid could not have looked more bored.
Yeah.
He's just like, why do I have to be here?
Listening to these questions.
Oh, my God.
He gets to watch these wins every week.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
He's bored of winning.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's bored of it. He's bored of winning. I will say, we could break down the NFL implications of this. I think the Bills honestly lost this game more than the Eagles won. Give credit to the Eagles, they made plays when they had to, which the Bills did not do. But at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts, ride or die, 3rd straight year with double-digit rushing touchdowns. This year, obviously, it's been enhanced quite a bit by the brotherly shove, the tush push, whatever you want to call it. But the fact is that he had a rushing touchdown to win the game, to seal it as well. He's now had back-to-back games with multiple rushing touchdowns, and this was nice to see because I think one of the concerns coming into the game was he's not running the way he used to last year, and yet by hook or by crook, he's getting into the end zone with his legs in addition to obviously his arms. Fantasy ride or die as we head into Monday Night Football. He's the 2nd best quarterback in fantasy. He could have been my ride or die again this year.
He was tremendous. And look, he still doesn't look 100%. He couldn't beat Linval Joseph on an island, couldn't get past him. It's Linval Joseph. Why can't you just run past him? But he did look better and clearly did enough. And he was magnificent in the second half and overtime. And look, we'll get into all the fantasy implications. I do think the Eagles are such a fascinating team just from an NFL perspective and a betting perspective. Yeah. This team is 10-1. They made the Super Bowl last year. They're 2.5-point underdogs at home next week to the San Francisco 49ers. So that's what the market thinks. The market thinks is the Niners are that much better than the Eagles. But
I kind of agree.
Yeah, I agree too. I think it's going to get to 3. I think it's going to get bigger. And they're banged up too. But look, I'm fairly, I don't want to say I'm anti-Eagles. I like the Eagles, but I'm more skeptical that they are a 10-1 team. And a lot of that is because they keep winning these close games. But I will say that I think that these 3 wins over the Cowboys, Chiefs, and Bills, there is obviously some luck involved. If Gabe Davis runs the right way, then they lose the game. But I do think it is a feature and not a bug in a way because 2 things. 1, they have such stability on offense with Hurts, and when they march down the field, their ability to throw the ball, their ability for just Hurts to take off if nothing is open, that is so stable, and they can just rely on that. And here's the main thing, though. Nick Sirianni is so good, and they just do not make mistakes. They don't do dumb stuff.
Right.
And the Cowboys, they lost the game because the Cowboys do dumb stuff. The Chiefs lost the game because their receivers can't catch, but they don't have good receivers. And then the Bills lost the game because Sean McDermott is terrible at the end of games, and he's butchered the end of the game. So I think the fact that the Eagles, they just do the right thing. They make the right decisions, and Hurts and the offense are so good at the end of games that they should be winning these close games.
But you don't expect the Eagles to lose a game because they had 12 men on the field for a field goal attempt, right? Which is what the Bills do. To your right. I mean, the fact is Josh Allen throws a pick. Whether Gabe Davis runs the wrong route or Josh Allen threw it in the wrong place, whatever, they're not on the same page. Tyler Bass missed a field goal in this one. James Cook is running down the sideline. James Cook is running down the sidelines. He has a wide open. All he has to do is catch it. And instead he MVS's it. That's my news. He Marquez Valdes-Scantlings. He drops it. If he catches it, he runs in the end zone, and then they take him out for a series and they sort of punish him. There was a crucial 3rd down on that final drive, I think it was the final drive where they ended up taking the field goal. What? No, not the Devonte Smith. I'm saying the Bills, and they had a crucial 3rd down, and the play that they called was a little out route to Latavius Murray. Yeah. Now, and he catches the ball, and they convert the 3rd down, but I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. Yeah. That's your 3rd down play is like Latavius Murray in motion for a 5-yard out? Anyway, so I'm with you, Jay, is that feature not a bug because last year the Eagles killed everyone. Yeah. They absolutely destroyed everyone, and then they got into the Super Bowl, and they got into a tight game, and Jalen Hurts has the bad fumble, and at the end of the day, the Chiefs end up winning it. This year, they've had to grind it out more, and even though they may not be as good a team as they were last year, they actually might be better prepared for a Super Bowl win.
Certainly. And on the flip side, the Bills, who are now 6-6 and have a worse record than the Indianapolis Colts, who are starting Gardner Minshew at quarterback, and were expected to be a 5-12 team. It's completely insane. And here's how I know that Sean McDermott hasn't done a good job this year. This was the biggest game of the Bills season. Everything rode on this, and in the first quarter, they committed 7 penalties. This team is never prepared. At the end of the game, why are you using your second timeout before Jake Elliott kicks the field goal,
That was
Sean?
egregious.
You need your timeouts.
Yeah.
How are you not going for it when you have 20 seconds on a timeout and Josh Allen's arm at the end of the game?
Right.
Do you know how long it took Dallas in the Philadelphia game 3 weeks ago to go from their own 14 to Philly's 25? It took them 14 seconds. And the Bills had 20 seconds on a timeout and just decided to kneel. It's unbelievable. It's a malpractice.
The Bills lost a playoff game when they had
13
13
seconds.
seconds.
It's unbelievable.
Mahomes, 13 seconds.
Just
to kick.
throw it in the air. It's much more likely to be pass interference than interception. And by the way, if it's an interception, who cares? The Eagles don't have timeouts. If it's an interception at the other end of the field, they're not going to win.
Yes.
It's bizarre.
And you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and you're coaching scared in that moment. That's
Andy
the biggest
Reid
problem.
does the same thing with Mahomes.
Yeah.
It's like, just go for it, guys. Go for it. Very serious.
Taking it back to fantasy for a second, we'll just real quickly, another great game for Devonte Smith here. Again, in the games in which he's now played 2 games without Dallas Goedert, he's averaging 102 yards. He's got a 32% target share in this one as well. And so he's averaging almost 20 fantasy points per game. Locked in as a borderline wide receiver 1. He's the guy that people drafted him to be as long as Dallas Goedert is out. Tough game for A.J. Brown. He gets the touchdown, so you don't really care about, but just 5 for 37 a touchdown. And I thought this was weird. His average depth of target was 5.2. For some reason, it was just a bunch of dink and dunk stuff. And I don't know if that was how they were playing A.J. Brown and they were just sort of taking what they're giving, and they were leaving Devonte Smith more on an island, and so that's where Hurts went. But second straight game where Brown has underperformed due to his lofty expectations.
Yeah, and there's something off about the Eagles' offense at the moment. The first drive of the game for the Eagles, Hurts throws the ball away 3 times. It's just first and 10, second and 10, third and 10, fourth and 10. They don't even get anything going. So that is a little bit strange. But Devonte Smith is the big story. He's turned it around from that Jets game, which was a disaster. He's just back to being the guy that everyone thought he would be before the season.
Last quick thing here. I think it's interesting. So they're at home. Huge game, obviously, this week. They're at home to San Francisco, as you point. Their opening line is 2.5-point underdogs to the Niners as well. Then they're at Dallas. And then they're on the road at Seattle, which is not...
It's not an easy game. Seattle's defense is solid.
Seattle's defense is solid. That's a tough place to play. Right. You're traveling all the way across the country as well. So, and then they're home to the Giants. So the next 3, I think, will be telling for the Eagles. It is still insane that the only quarterback so far this year that can say they beat the Philadelphia Eagles is your guy, Zach Wilson.
It's really just remarkable at this point.
That's why they play the games. Bill's side of the ball, I don't know that there's much really to talk about here because they're going on a bye this week. But it does... I mean, it was nice to see that James Cook, again, after like a brutal play, eventually got going in the second half, but you saw some Ty Johnson involved. Still too much Latavius Murray for it's clearly they trust Latavius Murray more than they do James Cook. Gabe Davis had a nice game here despite the bad play at the end.
Yeah, but I know. Diggs got right a little bit. I mean, he's 60-74 on a touchdown, had the drop. And also, they were taking him out on some third downs. I'm not sure if he must be carrying something. I don't know why he's not on the field on every third down. And the Bills had a lot of third downs as well.
The shocking one to me was Dalton Kincaid, 5 for 38 on just 6 targets. Again, It's always like start your tight ends against the Eagles. I thought Kincaid was going to have a huge game here. And the game in which Josh Allen, passed for 339 yards, he threw the ball over 50 times in this game. Kincaid only gets 6 targets is a weird one to me. Josh Allen was just a beast.
Yeah. Just lastly on this game, Connor, I thought Allen was magnificent. He was a 10 out of 10.
Correct.
He outplayed Jalen Hurts, and Hurts was fantastic in the second half, and he finishes as QB1 so far in Week 12. With
this loss is not
39.7
on Josh
points.
Allen.
No, and this is the killer, is that I really wish for a lot of reasons that the Bills won this game, but mainly for Josh Allen and to give him that statement win, because now he's 6-6, and everyone thinks that Josh Allen is, he's underperforming, he can't come through in the clutch. Like, he's been amazing this year. He is not the problem. And Kevin Cole, who has a great Substack called Unexpected Points, he looks at what your adjusted scores are based on like the underlying metrics and what the expected score should be based on, more stable stuff like success rate and not, returning a punt 99 yards, which won't happen. And so based on expected scores, the Bills, who are 6-6, you know what their record should be?
What's that?
12-0. They should have won every single game this season, and they've lost 6 of them.
They put 12 guys on the field during a field goal,
Right.
and a guy
They have
runs a wrong
families to
route,
lose,
and they
like
have
you opened
and they have
this
Week 1 against the Jets, just Mac Jones drives down the field against them. Just weird stuff keeps happening, and they're not going to make the playoffs, I don't think.
No, they're not, and they'll be if that happens. If that happens, and you see some other AFC teams surging, suddenly Denver looks like a real playoff contender.
6-5
Colts?
Denver.
The Colts, yeah. I mean, like, it's sort of crazy there, Yeah, I mean, I think if the playoffs started today, they're not in.
They're out, and they got their next game at Arrowhead against Patrick Mahomes.
No, I mean, listen, their next 4 games, they have a bye this week, then they're at Kansas City, then they're home to Dallas, and then they're at the Chargers.
Yeah,
Wait, that's not a
not a
gimme.
layup. Yeah,
that's
it's
not a
not a
layup.
They got to win
way.
all of them. They've probably got to win all of them,
Yes.
which is insane.
Which is crazy. But we're fans of Josh Allen here.
Yeah.
We're team Josh Allen here.
And the bottom line is the offense has been better since they let go of Ken Dorsey. So, I mean, there's no concern going forward with Allen. It's just the defense.
But the
needs to make a play.
defense hasn't been better. I mean,
Defense-
that's the thing.
That's-
Why are you playing in a soft shell, McDermott? Just send a blitz or something.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.